So, here we are. We're here in Homestead wrapping up another Cup Series season. So, looking back on this season so far, you've had some gains, you've had some losses, but overall it's been a solid season for this 2017. So, what are your thoughts, now that you're at Homestead at the end of the year?
Yeah, just want to finish the year and the season, my career at RCR off on a high note for sure. Great group of guys I've been working with the last several years, and sad to have it all come to an end, but we're having a fun weekend. We had decent speed in the car. Hasn't really been the year that we wanted, but it's we've learned a lot this year. So hopefully they can apply that in the years to come and go from there.
Did it feel different coming into the track? Are there different emotions for this weekend?
It's all what you make of it. So I'm not a very emotional guy, and I can be at times, I guess, but I'm just going about my business and being grateful for all these people around me.
Yeah. What do you think has been missing in the 2017 this year? Is there something that you feel is separating you from getting up there and getting into the victory lane? Do you feel?
I think it's a lot of things. I think the new Chevrolet body that they're going to have next year is going to be definitely a step in the right direction. I think we've a little bit of a disadvantage this year with aerodynamics compared to the Fords and the Toyotas. So. I think the Chevy teams will be a little bit stronger next year because of that.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the beginning when you first joined RCR in 2011. When it came to meeting Richard for the first time and starting talking with him, how long did you know him before then, or was it kind of a fairly new relationship at that point?
First time I met Richard was like 2001 or 2,
wow.
So I've known him a long time. Didn't know him that well, and obviously since 2011 we've become pretty close friends. So Richard's a great man. Has done a lot for the sport. Has done a lot for me personally, and we're he's a competitor on the racetrack. We're hunting buddies outside the racetrack, and he's taught me a lot.
You hunting buddies? You go hunting with him? How else do you do that?
I've been numerous times, a dozen times probably. We've shot duck together, we've shot elk together, and good guy.
Wow, awesome. How does he differ from other carnos that you've had? Obviously, you know him personally off the track, but when it comes to his competitive drive, as you said, how does that differ from, say, RPM or other teams that you've been with?
Well, he's really involved. His office is right at the shop. It's right where we have our meetings all the time, just down the hallway. So we'll be having a meeting. He'll pop in and have an agenda that he wants to cover or just say hi. So he's there a lot. If he's not at the shop, he's in constant communication with everybody back there. So a very hands-on owner.
Yeah. Your time with the team hit a peak at the Brickyard 400, winning that in 2011, your first season with the team. Huge family history at that track, and you actually got to win the race with Richard. You got to kiss the brick. So looking back, 6 years later, and when you look back on that, some great memories. But how big of a moment? How much that mean for you at the time, and now looking back after a few years?
It's a big moment for sure. It'll be bigger once I retire. I'm not trying to repeat that every single week. We try to win every week, so it's hard to look back on and rest on your laurels, I guess. But hope to get a few more before I retire, but that's always going to be a huge feather in the hat.
Would you call that your biggest moment at RCR?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and you also got a couple of Xfinity wins. You got to win at Road America. That was a home race win for you. So when it came to doing it on that side and also helping Richard with his Xfinity program, how'd that really blend with you, being able to balance both Cup and Xfinity and get a couple wins with them?
Yeah, I've been able to win in both series for Richard, and the RCR Xfinity program was pretty strong a few years ago, and they're kind of struggling right now too, a little bit on that side. But I feel like again with the new Chevrolet coming around, it's going to help both sides. I was able to help out their Xfinity program a little bit. They had some questions on some chassis a few years back, and I had a little bit more experience than some of the guys that were running it. So I think we got some of that sorted out for them, and they've had some success.
Yeah, when it comes to helping, obviously teammates always are helping each other. You got to work with Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton, on this team, Ryan Newman, Austin Dillon now. So when you get to work with so many different types of drivers, both experienced and younger drivers, do you pick up a little bit from each driver? Do you get to learn a little bit from them?
Yeah, for sure. You're always you're always talking with your teammates about what your car's doing, and every one of those guys you named has a different perspective on things. Ryan does things differently than Austin does, and Kevin did things differently than Burton did. So definitely learn from all of them for sure.
Yeah, and one big thing that separates predominantly you from the younger drivers is separating your personal life from your professional life. Not a whole lot of people get to know your personal life, so when it comes to you separating those two, how has that become an important thing, in your career? Or is that something you pay attention to?
It seems like a lot of these kids now, put their entire lives out for everybody to see on social media and stuff. I've never been that guy. Social media wasn't around when I was a kid, so I'm just not familiar with it. I don't trust it. I don't think it's a good thing for anybody to be a part of, just because there's so much more to life than sitting behind a telephone and looking at what other people are doing. So morally, I'm against it, and whether that keeps my personal life separate, I guess it probably does, and that's okay.
Yeah. Do you see, I believe you see more negatives when it comes to social media? A lot of negative people on there. Do you feel like you miss a lot of you're missing the right stuff? You know, you're not missing anything really important, would you say?
Well, I mean, I still read the news. I'm a big news junkie. I think people get lost. They think that the news comes from social media. The news comes from reporters and journalists and professionals, not from people who just put stuff out there, I guess. So I love the news. I'm a news junkie. I read the news all the time. Current events, racing, all that stuff. I don't think social media is a good place to get your news from.
Yeah. Do you think that's affected your image with fans? Because obviously so many fans, as you said, they just live off social media, and you're not there. Do you think that's affected your image?
It could be. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not. I want to know.
Right. So now looking at this Sunday, it's your last race with the team. You obviously want to end it on a positive note. Obviously you want to win the race, but overall you want it to be a strong weekend when you go out and get a good result for this crew. So it's a unique position. You've been with this team for so long, and I'm always interested to know when a driver leaves a team after so long, what's the feeling like when they're approaching their last race?
I mean, we're going about this race the same way we always do. Try to put our best foot forward and try to go out on a high note. So. Up until that point, it's business as usual. After the race, give everybody a hug and see what happens from there.
Yeah. And final question: going to the Wood Brothers next year, definitely a solid step in your career. Do you feel like it was time for a change in your career?
It was. It was time. Sometimes you got to freshen things up, and this is a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Does it give you a little boost of momentum? If they don't win this weekend, you're going to be going for their 100th win next season. Very historic race team. So, and how much do you look forward to chasing for wins and going after that 100 with that legendary team?
I mean, that's a huge milestone for the Wood Brothers. I mean, as long as they've been around the sport, obviously won a lot of races, and that 100 is a magic number. So I'll have that opportunity if Ryan doesn't do it on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely appreciate your time, Paul. Best of luck Sunday. Thank you.